This is the 2022 Marin Rift-Zone 29er, and if I'm being honest, there really isn't a thing I'd change about it. But this is the brand new for 2023 Rift-Zone, which has more travel and it's a little bit longer too. So it must be better, right? So in this video, we're going to be riding these bikes back to back on the same trail to let you know if the new model is worth it. So let's take a closer look at the frames and the spec of the bikes first. So for 2023, the Marin Rift-Zone 2 that we have on test here sits right between last year's 2 and 3. So this means you're getting the great value Marzocchi Z2 fork that's found on last year's 3 model, so their money's been spent on the suspension, which is great to see, while the rest of the spec is shared mostly with last year's 2 model. So you're getting Dior 12 speed, so great wide range drivetrain, Shimano MT201 hydraulic disc brakes, and a RockShox shock, which is good to see too. The main reason we aren't comparing a 3 to a 3 is because for 2023, Marin's dropped the 3 model in favor of a super burly XR build, which is even more descending focused. So pretty similar so far. When it comes to suspension, it's great to see they're almost identical except for those rear shocks, but to be honest, they'll perform pretty much the same, which is great because when we ride the bikes on the trail, we should be really able to nail down the differences. And talking about differences, let's dive into the geometry. So when the older frame was released a few years back, it was bang up to date with all the trends. A 65.5 degree head angle, 76 degree seat angle, and 480mm reach on the size large. For a do-it-all trail bike that loves the descents, there wasn't too much to change. So for the 2023 model, there are only a few small changes. As Marin said, it's a gradual evolution, not a revolution. With that being said, Marin has made the seat angle a degree steeper, and they've also added 5mm to the chainstay length, the reach, as well as the rear travel too. And they've also bumped the front travel up by 10mm as well, bringing it to 140mm up front and 130 in the rear. The leverage curve on the rear suspension has seen some fine tweaks as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they differ on the trail. And the last thing, there's a little bit more protection around the chainstay and seat stay as well. So overall, the changes aren't too drastic, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they perform on the trail. So let's start off with a refresher lap on the 2022 model. So what I liked about the 2022 bike, it was a really great do-it-all trail bike and was really capable, especially having 125mm of rear travel. And that's no real surprise considering the geometry is almost identical to the Siskiyou T, which has 10mm more of travel. So you really get the stability from the geometry, but because it has slightly less travel, it's just a little bit more poppy and playful. And because the Siskiyou T is my favorite bike, there's no real surprise that I like this bike too. But I guess my main concern is the extra length of the new bike and extra travel really going to detract from the fun factor that I really liked about this bike? Well, let's take it out for a ride and find out. So overall, what are my thoughts on the bike? And I think Marin was right that it's definitely an evolution and not a revolution. So I think it goes without saying that this makes the 2022 model look even more impressive. It still has bang up to date geometry and it's still great spec for the money. So if you're looking for a great deal on a modern trail bike, the 2022 model might be a great option for you. But for me, I really enjoyed the small tweaks on the 2023 model. The small tweaks to improve the descending performance didn't really detract too much from the climbing performance. And I think that really comes down to the steeper seat angle, again in a more optimal position to pedal, and the updates to the kinematics of the suspension as well. When it came to the descending, the extra length and travel of the bike, but also the extra stack height as well, really gave me a lot more confidence. And in saying that, that taller stack height as well put me in a more upright position when I was climbing, and that made my lower back feel a bit better as well. The bike is still poppy and playful. The chainstays are still 430mm, so plenty of short there. So it's really easy to manual as well. And the real standout is the great value that you get on the 2 this year. You're getting that upgraded fork, so that Marzocchi Z2, it's my favorite fork at this price point. You're still getting Shimano Dior 12 speed, so plenty of range there for the climbs. And you're getting a good long dropper post, Shimano MT201 brakes. It's all great spec for the money. And the last couple of things, I really like the color as well. In a few models in the lineup, you can also pick and choose your colors, so there's 2 options on some there. And the last thing is that the standover height's a little lower as well. So that's gonna be great for smaller riders, and it also makes the bike feel a little bit smaller under you. So when you want to maneuver the bike as well, the top tube's not getting in the way at all. So overall, those are my thoughts on the 2023 model compared to the 2022. Main takeaways, 2023, just that little bit better at the descents and a little bit more comfortable on the climbs. But in saying that, the geometry and spec on the 2022 model is still bang up to date with all the trends. So if you're looking for a great deal, definitely check that one out while stocks last. And I'll leave links to everything in the description. And if you have any questions about either of the bikes, leave a comment as well. And as always, thanks for watching. See ya.